So for this tutorial now we're coming to the prototype stage. So as you can see, we can see all the characters, the 7 elements rendered up now. So that means we've actually modelled them, shaded them and textured them. So they're pretty much on completion, ready for animating and ready for production purposes. They're not all as similar in the traits, but they've all got their own kind of shaders, which will help you out throughout the tutorials in learning about new shaders and new techniques. We've also taken into account with the shading the actual animation purposes, so in terms of the characters, how they would animate, what types of shaders would be more appropriate for them. In addition to that, we're also trying to keep to the 2D concept designs that we received, so make sure that the style's still similar and in keeping with the actual 2D graphics we received. So just moving on, if we take a look at the set also, that's now under completion, so it's all now lit. We've used like a ramp shader for the actual flooring, so it looks like there's a spotlight on it, but it's just actually an illusion. We've used glows in there for lighting and just a small little ambient light. But the other thing is we've actually got a beam beaming into the middle, so as you can see there's a projection of one of the characters in the middle of the set, which is quite a nice touch. So that's pretty much prepared now as well. So if we just now take a look in Maya, so here's the set, and let's just move around it. So there's a mixture of things like transparency maps in there, there's UV texture maps we've used for the actual face, some of the polygonal objects, as well as the flooring. We've also used things like glow shaders for the actual lights, which are just simply NURBS geometry. And once again we've got a transparency map for the actual microphone itself. So it's a fairly mixture of geometry and texturing, but it's worked quite nicely. If we just look at the face, or one of these faces, for that, and go to the hyper shader, as you can see, if I'm just going to click on that one, you can see here's one of the textures that we've used for that. So there's a balance of UV mapping and shaders all within the actual scene file itself, which is quite nice. So the other thing that I've done, I've actually created 2 spotlights on either side, and both spotlights are actually projecting an image onto these surfaces. If I just select the spotlight now and go to the attribute editor, you can see that it's actually projecting that image through the spotlight. So now let's take a look at some of the characters. I'm just going to make these visible. So here are the characters in the set. When you import the characters into the set, they basically import also their shaders or textures. So if you look in the hyper shader, you will see all their shaders in there. So it just automatically brings them in. In terms of shading the characters, some have been UV texture mapped with textures. Some have just been using toon shaders. So that one in particular, and titanium UV mapping. So they're all a variety of shaders. In terms of the models, some of the models have been rigged. So with the silver character, if I just click on there, we can move the arms because it's rigged, and rotate the shoulder, rotate the elbows. It's also got constraints on it, so we can control the eyes, as you can see. And similar to titanium, that's been rigged as well by one of our great riggers, Dean Finnegan. In terms of the other characters, Nickel is using bend deformers, linear deformers. the Californium's using set driven keys, so it's moving that way. And if I just scroll through, you can see some of the characters moving on screen as well. So they've been keyframed and animated. So it's just basically bringing the characters into the set, just seeing how they work. Also, the other crucial thing is when we render this is how well is it lit. So does the lighting suit the actual shaders? That's quite important too.